To practice Dhamma, to practice Dhamma, do not send the mind out. Try to be self-aware. Now your minds, about 1,000 minds, are with me now. Why we have to let our mind to be with ourselves? Because to practice Dhamma is about learning about oneself, to understand about oneself. The oneself actually comprises of both body and mind, and it can be further categorized into the 5 aggregates. There are forms, which is the body, and there are feelings, happiness and unhappiness, perception, interpretation, and the mental fabrications, good or bad. And there are also the mind or the consciousness, which is the nature of perceiving, knowing things. And the 5 aggregates. If you keep on practicing, then you can see the 5 aggregates can be separated. Then you can see that each aggregate has no self. The way that we can see this by meditating through the methods of our Buddha called Vipassana Vipassana in Bali means when we're learning through separating, categorizing. For example, if you think that that is true self, but once we further categorize, separating, differentiate, the body is one thing, the feelings, happiness and unhappiness, perceptions is other things, and the mental fabrications, good or bad, neither good nor bad, is another thing. So the mind or consciousness is the center part that knows everything. Is also another thing. If you can differentiate these things, discern these parts, you could see that each aggregate are not us animals, not no one. Aggregates is just parts. For example, the body is just merely body. It's only not takes mass of substances, and there's a flow of elements comes in and out all the time. When you were a child, there's a lot of flowing of elements coming in and out, a lot, very much. But once you get older, then less and less of them, and you become deteriorates. Every day, there's an element circling around all day and night, especially water, keeps circulating within your body through the blood veins. And the earth element, you eat a lot of food and sustenance. Once you eat them, you have to let them go, excrete them out. So there are circulation of elements, earth element. Or you can further differentiate or discern the body into two elements. The earth is no one, no animals, nothing, no one. The food that we eat or the things that we get out, these are not animal, not no one, no self. The water that we drink is no one, no, it's not animals. And the pee, the urinate is no one. There's no self in urinate. So we keep separating these things, and you can see that there's no self in it. But if we do vipassana, we can do further differentiate these things through 4 elements. Earth is no one, is no self. The water, the wind, and the air elements are not us, no one, no self. If we keep on differentiate these things, we see that the body is not self. It's actually not a person, not an animal. It's just a mass of substances that composed together as a form. So what makes these things made up of one form, which is actually the I. It's actually karma. The karma is the one that fabricates these things to be particular things, like a person, male, female, with these particular features through the karma. So in fact, once we have the mindfulness and wisdom to see this clearly, that we see that the body is not ourselves, the body is not us, doesn't belong to us. And for the perspective of happiness and the feelings, happiness and happiness within the body or mind, or neither happiness nor unhappiness within the mind. Sometimes it's happy, sometimes it's suffering, sometimes it's neither of them. People in the world hunger for happiness and hate suffering. But once we keep on meditating and practicing Dhamma, we see that these feelings, happiness and happiness, just something strange penetrates body and mind. The true body is actually an object, like the floor. The floor has no feelings. The body itself is actually the object. It doesn't contain any perception and any knowing. It's just only the feelings that comes in, so we can feel the feelings. For example, if you you become asleep, the body cannot feel anything. Once the doctor wants to perform surgery, there's no feelings. So these feelings in the body are two parts. They are different parts. For example, if your consciousness is in the subconscious, and you're in a sleeping state, and you've got performed the surgical performance have been performed, and you don't feel anything. They cut different parts of your body out, and preserve some of them. The mind doesn't know all these things, so it didn't feel anything. But once you got from anesthesia and got consciousness, then you can feel. If you can keep on observing, see that the feelings, the pain was perceived by the mind. Without the mind, there's no feelings. The feelings is a strange thing that comes in, penetrating the body or mind from time to time. If there's a feelings, then will be consciousness or the mind. And they can perceive these feelings, can know these feelings. But without the consciousness of mind, the mind, for example, in a sleeping state, doesn't know these objects. No matter how painful it is, you won't feel it. So if you keep on observing to see that happiness and happiness are actually not body. The bodies exist, but the mind doesn't know these feelings, so there's no happiness or unhappiness. Happiness and happiness are not the mind as well. It is strange objects that comes in from time to time and keep circulating in and out within our heart. If every mind complies with the feelings, sometimes it's happiness, sometimes unhappiness, sometimes the indifference called indifference. So these feelings are rising together with every mind. But when the mind is in sleeping state, it couldn't perceive these feelings. But once it's become awakened, that it feel these feelings, happiness, suffering within the body, or happiness and happiness, or indifference within the mind. So you can observing, you can see that happiness and happiness are not self, not animal, not us, not them. The feeling within the mind, happiness and indifference are not us, not them, not animal. For people who are educated and never practice Dhamma, when their body subjected to suffering and well, you think that you are the one who suffer. If you think that your body is yourself, then you feel that you are the person who got suffering. But if you could see that the suffering is one thing and the feelings, pain is another thing, and the mind is another part, you could see that the body is not the one who suffers. The suffering infiltrates the mind, infiltrates the body. The body is only an object. It's not us, it's not them, it's not animal. And the feelings, happiness and happiness are not animal, not us, not them. But they're only one of the abstract parts that arising together with the mind. So you can keep on practicing and see the aggregate separated, and each aggregate portrays the non-self and not us. No animals, no us, no them. It will portray these traits to ourselves. It's not something difficult. If you can separate the aggregates in the mind, you can see that the body is not us, not them, not animal. And all the feelings, happiness and happiness within the body is not us, not them, not animal. The feelings or happiness and happiness indifferent within the mind are not us, not them, not animal. Keep on observing and learning this. For example, the perception. Do you know the memory of the perception? Sometimes you can memorize things, sometimes you couldn't, you forget things. Sometimes you don't have intention to memorize it, but it firmly, vividly on your mind. So the perception of memory is non-self. It's something that impermanent and non-self. Keep on observing and you could see that the perceptions or memory are not us. We cannot command it. We cannot command it to remember this and remember that. But for things that you don't want to remember, it's totally vividly in your mind. Sometimes it comes, sometimes it goes without us being able to control it. And I used to wonder how the perception of memory arises in the following way. I could see the feelings arising and fall away very easily. And mental fabrications, good or bad, agreed aversion, delusions can arise and falling away very easily. But I was wondering how the perception of memory arises and fall away. It's very hard to see. So I have the intention to understand this particular part. There was one day, my house was in Luangpu province, and I have to travel to Bangkok in order to work in the parliament. And if I went by bus, it's going to be very crowded, so it's very difficult. So I went through ferry from Nonthaburi province, and it took me about 40 minutes to travel from Nonthaburi to the parliament. It's a lot easier and convenient. And that one day, I was wondering how the perception of memory works. So, and all of a sudden, the mind portrays the Dhamma and teaches me the Dhamma. Getting out of the ferry, I walked a few steps, about only a few 10 meters. I have to go to the bus in order to get home. And then all of a sudden, the perception of memory is gone. I couldn't remember a thing. It's not Alzheimer. It is something that I wanted to know. All of a sudden, the memory is gone. I don't know what that particular person is. I don't know this particular person, but it's like the memory is just gone. All of a sudden, I can memorize things. And I don't know where I want to go. I don't know where my house is. I don't know where I am. I didn't know that what happened to me. This is when the memory is gone, following. But I wasn't agitated. I wasn't but I didn't want to do it again. Otherwise, I'm afraid of having Alzheimer myself. So, but I don't mind. I don't mind other people walking around or just standing there. After a while, the perceptions and memories arises. I understand, and I know that who I am, and where I'm going. You see that the perception, the memory arises on its own, like all those mental fabrications, happiness and happiness, the greed, aversion, delusions, is emerged from the middle of my chest. It's called Hataya or Jai Klang, the middle heart and body. In the text, it said that it's within the heart, but actually, Hataya in Bali doesn't mean the heart. It's actually the middle part. So these phenomena arises in the middle of my chest. Perception, mental fabrication, greed, aversion, delusion, all emerges from the middle of my chest. I will tear apart the the perception and memory just emerge. But for the fruits and attainment, it will tear apart the covering of the mind. So I understood that the perception and memory arise and fall away on its own. I cannot control it. The perception can be categorized into two things: the perception and interpretation. The memory is like the memory and interpretations. The memory, when you can remember what's your name, what's your family is, what's your workplace, where's your workplace, what the road leads to where, and what this particular road go to where. These are memory, which happens to all kinds of beings. And there are other kinds of perceptions called interpretation. Interpretation can be categorized into two, wrong and right interpretation. Worldly people have the wrong interpretation. We don't have to be startled. All of us have. Worldly beings also have misinterpretation. How could we have the wrong interpretations? We interpret the unbeautiful thing as beautiful things. For example, our body is full things. It's very, it's only look good because the cover, which is the skin, cover all the bad things. Which is very thin, but deep down within our skin is full of foul things and not very good things. And the skin cannot be covered everything. When the time comes, the foul things will come out through different holes of our body. There was one woman want to flirt with the monk. Not sure whether it's Luangpu Pramote or not quite sure. It's a long time ago. There was this particular woman flirt with the monks, and the monk said that I don't really care about you. I only see you as one bag of flesh and full of numerous holes. And there's four things coming out through these holes. It seems that our skin look smooth and clean, but actually there are foul things like sweat coming out all the time, like our nostrils. There's some foul things within our nostril, and there's different foul things through, for example, eyes or teeth or butt. There's only a pee as well. There are different foul things coming out through different holes. But most people don't want to interpret like this. They only see things as beautiful, like when they wake up in the morning, they wash their face, trying to fool themselves, like brushing their teeth, want to relieve all the foul things. Like when you wake up in the morning, it's very so you have ugly face. You don't want anyone to see, so you wash your face and have the powder and dress yourself and put the makeup on. You want to fool others. You want to fool others that you are beautiful, but in fact you cannot fool them. If you look carefully, you would be able to notice the unbeautiful things within this body. Actually, the foul thing is coming out of our skin all the time, and these foul things, and we interpret these foul things as beautiful things. This is when we have the wrong interpretations. We misinterpret the unbeautiful thing, non-beautiful thing, as beautiful thing. And we feel deep down that today we are permanent. We're not going to die today, but actually there's a self, and you also think that's the same self for today and last year, same self for today and when you were young. There are true self. You can go and have a look at the old photographs. It's actually different from nowadays. It's impermanent. But we don't seem to understand this. We see that these things are permanent. Actually, our faces changes all the time. Nothing permanent. When you're getting old and pain and you pass away, there are wrinkles everywhere and the hair turn gray. The eyes isn't clear no more. If you don't die soon, you would witness these traits. When you're painful, you become old age, you easily stumble and fall. But when you were young, when you fall, when you fell, you just wake up easily and go on. But once you getting old, when you want to get up very quickly, you become dizzy. People don't want to notice these things. When the body is foul, you don't want to look at it. If the body is impermanent, you try to ignore it. They are suffering, suppressing your body all the time, but you don't want to. You want to ignore it. You just want to see things as yours. This is how worldly beings know things. But if you practice Dhamma and you become a stream enterer, there will be the right interpretation. You see things that not beautiful as not beautiful, and you see that the body was suppressed by the suffering all the time. You're sitting for too long, it's suffering. Lying for just too long, it can be suffering as well. But there are only suffering, suppressing your body all the time, breathing in, breathing out. It's all suffering. If you have the mindfulness to be aware of the body, you realize that it's full of suffering. There's nothing beautiful. And it's something that we cannot control truly. You cannot command the body to walk. We cannot command the body to walk all the time. The one day, it couldn't walk. We cannot command the body to become old, or ache, or pain, or pass away. We cannot command them. If you have the mindfulness to be aware of these, even though the memory, sometimes you can memorize things, sometimes you couldn't. It's impermanent. And interpretation, sometimes you have the wrong interpretation. We have to train ourselves till we have the right interpretations that actually know self. If there's a wrong interpretation, there would be a self. If you have wrong interpretation, and then you have the wrong view, that there is self. This is the process that happens. You will see as if there is a self. As long as you still there is self, that's still wrong interpretation. But if you are the stream enterer up to the number ones, you will see that there is no self. It's empty. Only aggregates. We keep on practicing, you see that the form is not self, feelings, happiness and happiness are not us. The interpretation and memories are not us. The self take place because of the wrong interpretation. If you have the right interpretations, there will be no self because you cannot control it. And the other part is actually mental fabrications, which is when the mind fabricates things, for example, feelings, happiness and happiness, or interpretation, which is called fabrication. And the rest of the fabrications, which is comprised about 50 something, is the fabrications of mind itself, categorizing the mental fabrications like greed, aversion, delusions. They all fall into categories of mental fabrication. If you keep on practicing, then you can see that whatever happens, whatever fabrication happens, you try to be aware of them. For example, aversion arises within our chest. When the eye see, ear see forms, the eyes, the sense make contact with the world. They produces, for example, aversion. If you cannot fabricate, if you cannot practice the Dhamma well, the aversion will dominate the mind, and there will be no mindfulness or wisdom. Unwholesomeness will take over you, and you want to take revenge, for example. But if you have the mindfulness and see the version arising in the middle of your chest, and you have mindfulness that the aversion is not the mind is the one that knows the aversion. Once the aversion arises in the middle of my chest, the mindfulness knows and the aversion falls away. There's no substance to it. There's nothing significant. And likewise, delusions and greed arising and falling away as well. Anything that arises fall away. Whatever arises, that will fall away. Keep on observing this. The body is also arising and falling away. That breathing in, breathing out, walk, then you're going to different postures, happiness and indifference arising and falling away, interpretation, memory arising and falling away, or mental fabrication, good or bad, arising and falling away. Sometimes you aversion, non-aversion, greed, then you're not greedy, deluded, and you're not deluded. You keep on observing, you see that everything arises and falls away. It's something that you cannot control. If your mind is stable, you can see that the person is one thing. It is not the mind. It's not self. It's only something that infiltrates the mind. The perception infiltrates through the perception of mind. Likewise, other kinds of objects and things just infiltrates the mind. Something is not the mind. It's something strange thing that happens, takes place with the mind. These fabrications, memory and interpretations, only things that arise and fall away. And the other ones is consciousness of the mind, the heart or heart. People use different words for the mind. There's now people use the word mano in Bali wrongly. Like in Thai people, they use mano as imagining things, but actually mano is heart or mind. The heart or mind is the boss of all kinds of Dhamma, which is our mind. The mind is the nature to know things. So how could we observe that the mind or heart is not a self? The consciousness is not the self. The mind or heart or the consciousness is actually the same thing. It's the nature to know things, but once in different contexts, it will be called by different names. The consciousness is the one that perceives things through six senses. What's the mind? The mind is what's the heart? The heart is to know the mental parts. We call jai or heart. But for the mind can cover all kinds of things. Once the mind is sending out to see different things and work in different ways, it's the general terms. It can encompass different activities, like 14 functions. So how could we observe that these things are not us? If you could see that the mind is not self, is not us, then all the rest of the aggregates will not be us. The whole world will not be us. So if you have the mindfulness and wisdom to the max, it all comes down to the mind. And you could see that the mind is not us. If the mind is not us, then there will be no us in the five aggregates, because the five aggregates arises because of the mind that knows these aggregates, and there are something that happens with the mind, like happiness, interpretation, memory. It arises together with the mind. You can see these things easily as not us. Version is not us. Greed and delusion, happiness and happiness are not us. The body is not us. But how could we see that the mind is not us? This is the most difficult part to be able to witness. If you can pass this test, then you become the stream enterer. Because the first four aggregates can be easily observed as no us. But for the mind, we have the firm interpretations and memory that this is us. You can see for yourself when you think of something, you feel that I will do this, I will do that. But when there's no I, you could see that you only do things. The word "ling I" is just a term that you use when you become a stream enterer. There be no weight of an I in your mind. So how could we see that the consciousness of the mind or the heart as not us doesn't belong to us. We can observe that the mind arising and falling away all the time. The worldly people will see that there is only one single mind. People would think that the mind is permanent. The mind now and mind back then is the same thing. The mind now and my the previous lives are the same mind. And just think that this particular mind and the next life mind are the same kind of mind. This is when you have the wrong interpretation, firmly wrong interpretations that the mind is us. But how could we get rid of this? How could we see this? You have to see the truth. To see the truth of the mind, that it actually arises and falls away constantly. There's no single mind. You can observe it. For example, you can observe through two ways. The first one is when you see that it rises and falls away through the mental factors that arise together with the mind, like through the happiness and interpretations and memory, and also good or bad fabrications. The other way is when we can see the rising and falling away of the consciousness through the six senses. We can see by these two ways to see that the mind is not us. If you keep on practicing Dhamma and your mind is normal and natural, and all of a sudden the memory of someone arises, so resurfacing and fabricate, and the mind fabricates that memory. And when the feelings arises, then the mind fabricates. So they cause these mental fabrications. These are the things that fabricates the mind. It makes the mind work. For example, you think of someone, and aversion arises. You remember that this particular person is very evil, and you have the aversion fabricated. Once you have the mindfulness to be aware of this, then you can see that the mind was overtaken by the aversion. The mind becomes angry. Once you have the mindfulness to be aware of this, then aversion and the mind will be separated. You can see that the mind is not angry. The mind is the one that knows that there is aversion. But for worldly people, they could see that they are angry, but for Dhamma practitioners, they could see that the aversions and the mind are different things. You see that the mind is arising falling away numerously. Sometimes you see that the angry mind arises. Once you have the mindfulness to be aware, then the angry mind falls away, and there will be non-aversion mind. You can see that there's an impermanence of the mind. Sometimes it's angry, sometimes it's not, sometimes it's greedy, sometimes it's not, sometimes it's deluded, sometimes it's drowsy, sometimes it's turbulent, sometimes it's knowing. You can see that the mind keeps changing all the time. You can see these changes through the mental practice that arising together with the mind. For example, you see the angry mind arises, and then you see that the angry mind falls away. These are two different minds. Minds arising, fall away repeatedly. This is when you practice in the beginning. But once you have the swift mindfulness, you can see that the mind arising, fall away through six senses. For example, the mind that see the forms arising first from some period of time and then falls away. And then the minds that go to listen arise for a while, stay for a while, falls away. The mind that thinking, it stays for a while and falls away. But actually, it's repeatedly thinking things. But in fact, it's arising, falling away. If you keep observing, you see that once the mind arises within the eyes and falls away, arises in the thing, in the world of thoughts and falls away. The minds that become lost and joyful arise and falls away. If you can have the noble mind, the mind is stable. You can see that the noble mind itself stays for a while and then falls away, and the thinking mind arises. The thinking mind is one known, falls away, and the noble mind arises and falls away. When you see things for a bit, and you can see that the mind goes to see, the mind becomes the seer. So once you be aware of it, then the seer mind will fall, seeing mind will fall away, and the noble mind will rise. But if you have the necessity to see things, and you see it, the noble arahant can see things as well, but the mind doesn't send out to see. But for the worldly people's mind, it seems to running around, but actually it's not running around. It's rising and falling way through six sense thoughts. But you don't have, you cannot catch it in time, so you feel as if they are running here and there all the time. But if you have the mindfulness, good mindfulness, you can see that the knowing mind is one thing, is when the mind lost in seeing, and once known, then it falls away, and knowing mind arises. And stay for a while. Do not try to maintain it. Stay for a while and then falls away, and think of mind rising and falling away again. You keep on take turns happening like this. It only happens to those people who train themselves to have the knowing mind first. If you only have the lost mind, your mind is like a dog ramping, garbage, is and that. There's nothing. But if you train yourself to have the knowing mind, you can see that the mind rising and falling away. Sometimes thinking mind, sometimes it's knowing mind. Once known, the thinking mind falls away and the knowing mind rises. Stays for a while. Do not try to maintain it. Once there are emotions, falling, knowing mind will fall away and you become lost. Once the lost mind arises, once known, the lost mind falls away and the knowing mind rises again. See, there will be knowing mind take turns to taking turn arising, taking turn with other kinds of mind. So this is the things that really concentrate. When I was young, I trained myself to produce the knowing. I didn't know. I was innocent. I thought that everyone was like me. And when I learned the PA, when I learning the PE, I could see that the body kicking football or doing different activities, I could see the body and also feelings. But the mind couldn't cultivate wisdom because it doesn't interpret the three characteristics. I only see the phenomena as it is, on and on. And I thought that other people could see this too. But once I keep on practicing that, I realized that nobody's, actually everyone's full of deluded. They are lost all the time. Sometimes they're lost in seeing, sometimes lost in thinking. Most of the time they're lost in thinking and they never knew. A lot of people become lost. So how can we do this? Can we command the mind to become the knowing mind? No, because the mind is not self. The knowing mind, in fact, actually the mind that have the samadhi, the right samadhi. The right samadhi arises from the right mindfulness. Therefore, you keep on observing the phenomena. How could the right mindfulness arise? It arises from the firm recognitions of the phenomena. So in the Satipatthana, they will teach us to be aware of our mind, of body, for example, of feelings, or wholesomeness, as much as you can. For example, breathing, no so, breathing out, no so, lying down, walking, no so. Do not have the mind lost in thought. Once the body moves, no so as well. Once the body moves, no so, the body still no so. But you have to keep on knowing and sensing them till the mind can firmly recognize the changes of the body. Once it can recognize the changes in the body, once you have no mindfulness, the body moves, mindfulness will kick in automatically because the mind can firmly recognize the phenomena. I used to test this one. I used to pay respect, pay homage to Luangpu Tian, and he taught people to moving and knowing. The disciple moving. One group of disciples can move very beautifully, but the mind wanders off. The mind is wandered to outside the temple. The other group of people keep on thinking that what is the next move? These people are not self-aware at all. One group keep on thinking sometimes the other groups keep on overcasting on the movement like this. Overcasting, the mind becomes tight and blunt. If you practice like this, it's going to be exhausting. You cannot truly practice. Keep on practicing like Luangpu Tian. Just move, and also once the mind lack of mindfulness, the mind drift away, and also that's it. We have to train for the purpose of mindfulness, not for the movement itself. Likewise, when you walk in meditation, we don't walk in a particular manner. Lord Buddha never told us specifically to toe in a particular manner. He just said that once you walking also, or knows the body walking, just that's it. You don't have to predetermine to walk in different steps or different pattern. Because the master nowadays they found a trick that walking in a particular way they can make them good, but there are different school of practices, and people have a lot of discussion about which school of practice taught it correctly. But actually, you can walk in any way you want. You don't have to walk beautifully. You can do walk meditation, right? Walk beautifully. You can do like a soldier walking, marching. It's actually no use. So the important thing is you have to have the mindfulness and train. For example, I see Luangpu Tian movement, and he did very good. And so I sit down around his monastery, and I can memorize his movements. It's only 14 patterns, 14 steps. But I was angry nature. My background, natural background is very aversion. Actually, I just saying now I quit aversion. I only see innocent faces of yours, and I don't want to be angry with you guys. You already have a lot of suffering already. So when I was moving my hands. 14 steps is too much, so I just moving like this. Moves and also without any pattern. I just move. I feel the movement and still moving and still. I keep on sensing this, and I feel so painful. So I stop. I only use this one. From 14 patterns, just use this one. This movement. You can do this one as well. When I was in my workplace. Today is very busy and a lot of work. So I thought to myself that I walk like this. Can you walk like this? Yes, you can. You can walk like this. You can do walking meditation like this. And walk back and forth in different ways, but with the mindfulness. This is the main trick with the mindfulness, not about any pattern or walking style. Without mindfulness, it's no nonsense. I do it like Master Luangpu Pian, and one day I see my friends when I was so young. We haven't met for a long time. I was so happy. I was about to cross the street in order to say hi, and I see left and right to cross the road. I was so expert in crossing the road. I see the cars both sides, but nowadays there are motorcycles in the back as well. It's very difficult to be able to cross the road safely. So I look left and right and take a step further. Once I took a step, then I lost because I see my friend. I was so happy, but I couldn't see the happiness. I moved, looking left and right, but I couldn't see. But once my foot take a step, in a natural pace. So the more you see the phenomena, the more firmly the mind can recognize the phenomena. Once the mindfulness can automatically arises without any intention, then the mind becomes stable automatically as well. Once you have the right mindfulness, then the right samadhi will arise together. Once if you have the frequent mindfulness, then the stability of the mind will arise automatically as well. Keep on stable on and on and on. But there are different kinds of mind that give rise to stability of the mind. It's as if the mind can have the power. It's powerful. Once the mind is powerful, wisdom cultivation will rise. Once the mind becomes stable, you can see the aggregate separated. I said that about aggregate separation is when your mind quality of the mind is not enough. That's why I said that you have to have stable mind first to be able to separate the aggregates. Once the mind is truly stable, you will be able to see that the truth that the aggregates are actually already separated itself. You don't have to separate them yourself. Why it's called separated? Why it's called aggregates? Because it's a part. They're distinct parts already separated naturally. But the wrong interpretation, the wrong view, they put them together and think that as only a single entity. But once the mind is stable and recognize the body, you don't have any intention. You see for yourself that the body and the mind is two different things. You see that feelings and the mind are two different things, different parts. Once if you have the stable and the mindfulness recognize the happiness and happiness of any kind of mental fabrication, you can see that these things are not us. It's only some things that mind knows. And the mind itself arising and falling away. Sometimes it's knowing mind, sometimes it's lost, sometimes it's thinking, sometimes it's seeing the image, sometimes it's listening to music, sometimes it's smelling things, sometimes it's tasting things, sometimes it's touching things. Sometimes the mind is that thinking through the mind, sometimes the mind that focusing on the meditation object, sometimes it's no mind. See, the minds have different ways of behavior to see that each kind of mind arising fall away. Greedy mind arise and fall away. Angry mind arise and fall away. The mind that sees forms arise and fall away. The mind that listens to things arise and fall away. The mind that thinking arise and fall away. Even the normal mind itself arises and fall away. You see that keep on training this until your wisdom is ultimate and you can let go the let go the notion that the aggregates are us. You can see that each aggregates are not us. They are parted. But once they have wrong view, then you can see that wrong interpretation. You see that one single entity and this is us. You have a wrong interpretation that as us. There isn't us. But if you have the stable mind, the aggregate can be separated by itself. See that each aggregates are not, they're not us. Drawing vipassaviti in Bali. A lot of people think that vipassaviti, to do that, you have to make the mind is when the mind is good enough, then you try to separate each aggregate. But actually, you don't take action. If your mind is stable, the aggregates will be separated on its own. Do not bother separating them. Keep on training. And one day, you will be stream enter. Even though you have hairs full of hairs, but you can be stream enters. Some of the bold people are not stream enters. Nowadays, there are poetry like poems like the bald man like to dance, but the black hair like to give talks, Dhamma talk. Nowadays, the forest monk want to act like the town monks. The town monks want to act like the lay people. The lay people want to act like the greedy ghost. Actually, the deterioration of the world. So we have to hurry and take action to practice Dhamma. You might attain something. Papa Prahiya and his friends ขึ้น memorize firmly. At that time, the religion of Buddha Kassapa is deteriorates like out Europe. He went to the mountain and kicked out the ladder, and they sacrificed their lives to practice Dhamma. Without attaining, they wouldn't come down. Other people attend the Dhamma, but for Papaya, he couldn't attain anything. But in this religion, he can liberate it very quickly. He accumulated his virtues. Like the rest of us, we are Sampaya. We're born in this era. We have to hurry training. Some people can liberate it, but for those who cannot, have to accumulate these virtues, and then the next life will be a lot easier. But if you don't have any virtues, then it's going to be a lot more difficult next life because the defilements can be accumulated as well. So take action to practice today. Breathe in out, no, so breathe out, no, so do not let the mind wander off all the time. Whatever activities that make your wandering mind, just disregard it. Do not just watching series, and so that should be enough for today. Number 1. I practice Dhamma in formal meditations by walking 3 hours a day for about 3 months already. In daily life, I observe the body moves and see the mindset wander off. Can you kindly just advise me? The mind wanders off. Also, try to be aware of your own mind. Good. But now it's off the base. It's outside. You see that? Good. It's running towards me. It's okay. Just try to be aware that the mind is with me. Just know with the neutral mind. Once you see the phenomenon, once you know the phenomena with neutral mind, then the mind will be on the base on its own. Because when you know things not neutrally, then the mind wouldn't fabricate the mind more. The mind will become stable. Number 2, you keep on practicing. Number 2, I practice informal meditations by the breath and activities in daily life and walking meditation for half an hour. In daily life, I use the breathe in and out as an object meditation. I can see the memories and the body works according to the mind automatically. Could you kindly advise, please? Is there any defilements that you see? Any defilements that more in you? Please tell me. Illusion is actually on the background. It's very normal. It happens to everyone. Keep on observing and learning about yourself. Is there any defilements? You keep on observing it. The defilements that is the enemy for you that makes you unhappy. Overall, your practice is good, but now it's off the base. Can you see that? Just know so. You drift away. See that? Breathe. See the body breathing. That's it. Keep on breathing. Good. Good. Keep on practicing. Keep on practicing on and on. And once the mind get out of this, then know so. Then delusion, aversion, and greed will arise. Your background is very fiery. You see that? It's very fiery. You have to be aware of this as well. Know your defilements, then you can make progress very quickly. If you become irritated, like hurry all the time, This is because of the aversion. Mind is hot. So calm down, relax. So my wonders off. You see that? Good. Number one, wonders off. Once you submit it homework, you become relaxed and wonder off. You have to train yourself till you can become being aware. Like when you in front of me, once the master eating different things and the mind is just jumping here and there. Number three, I would practice formal meditations by walking in the morning, afternoon, and evening, about 3 hours a day. In daily life, I breathe in, breathe and out. I set up the meditations. When I have free time, when I forget my object, and I start again. 2 months ago, I practiced. I want to be correct, but so it's wrong. So I try to be in the presence. Whatever happens, just know. Can I practice what I do? Luangpu said, yes, you can do that. That's it. Number four, you're forcing yourself. Number four, I practice informal meditations about half an hour in the morning and evening. In daily life, I observe the body and mind. I overcasting for many years. I practice, then try to forget about my practice. Can you kindly advise what the right path is? It's good that defilements reduces, but no, with not neutral mind. If overcasting because it's greedy to be good, greedy to be practicing. There's a craving here. So if you can see that the craving arises within the mind, just know so. Once the craving's gone, then you can keep on practicing with natural mind. We'll be practicing with relaxing mind. If you start off with the greedy mind, it's going to be overfocusing for everyone. Be with the opposite meditation. Number four, you're still thinking and overfocusing. Once you overfocusing, you try to pull in the mind like this. You see that? Do not pull in the mind like that. Just let the mind works on its own and try to be mindful of their behaviors. Just be brave. The mind wanders off. See that? You don't have to cultivate wisdom just yet. You meditate in a relaxing way. Be with the object of meditation in a relaxing way. Do not hurry cultivating wisdom. Whatever happens, if it's calm, it's okay. Not calm, it's okay. That's fine. It's okay. But be with the object of meditations on and on. Number five, you follow from the temple. I see you almost every day. He's a Chinese person. There's a live interpretation. I practice Samadhi, right Buddha and Do, and I can see the body moves and still. In daily life, I can see the mind that drifting zigs and doors. I'm afraid of the mind that overgassing. Whether the mind is overgassed or not, you cannot command it. It's overgassing because you want to have the greed to overgas. You keep on practicing, keep on knowing. Now you have the intention to practice. That's when you make it incorrect. That is the wrong point. Avijja Paccaya Sankhara in Bali. The ignorance is the contributory factors of mental fabrication. The mental fabrication is actually the intentions to make things good. You have an intention to committing evil. It's fabricating evil. You have intentions to not knowing anything. It's called anicca sankhara in Bali. So as a starting point, you have to be aware. But do not start off by having the greedy mind. When it's rising also, falling also. Just know as it really is. You can breathe and see the body breathing. Whether it's calm or not, that's okay. That's it. Number six. He's been waiting for a long period of time. He's become stiff all over. I practice informal meditations in the morning chanting and also 35 minutes meditation in the evening. Now it's incorrect. You see that? Do you understand? As you pull in the mind. Every time that I become self-aware, I can observe breath. In daily life, I see the body doing different activities, and whenever object, any emotion comes, I become happy or sometimes irritated. I was angry in nature, try to pull in the mind. I can, but once I know, I can let go very easily. Can you kindly advise, please? The boss said that you practice good, very good, actually. Keep on practicing. Number 7. Hold on a sec. Number 6, your wonders off. I stop, once you finish, then you feel relaxed, and because you come stiff all over. Actually, you practice good. That you know your normality of mind. The mind is very good. The mind become awakened and joyful. No awakened and blissful one is not a stressful one. Number 7. I practice in formal meditations by walking about 45, 40 or 50 minutes a day. I sit in meditation about 30 minutes and 40 minutes a day. In daily life, I observe the feeling within the body once they make contact with the world. Once the feelings happen, and try to sense the thoughts, like faraway thoughts. Or say that it's good. Once you observe the body, the mind rooted in awareness, rooted in that feeling, the mind will be tight, stiff. Can you do that now? See, the mind rooted in the body. If the mind rooted in the body, no so. If the mind isn't rooted in the body, no so. Whatever the mind is like, no so as well. Good. Number 6, you're still accustomed to pulling the mind to be still. Be aware of it. It's not wrong if you know. If you practice beautifully and everything's perfect, but you didn't know that it was good, then it's wrong. If you're making incorrect, and you know, so that's good. Number 7, you wander off. The body moves. You can see, you can sense that, just moving without knowing. Now pull in the mind again. You see that? Do not do it. If you pull in, no so. If you have intention, no so as well. Just know the phenomena from time to time in the present moment, and then you can make progress very quickly. But if you start off by having the greedy mind to your forgetting, then it will be exhausting. Last person, number 8. I've been practicing in meditations by using anapanasati about 30 60 minutes a day. Depends on the mind. In daily life, I use the breath as object of meditation. See the mind rising from away. If I don't have anything to do, I come back to the breath. I take turn doing this. I can differentiate between the words and the Dhamma. I feel that the things that powering in the middle of my chest, I can make progress, and I see that there's no self in the beginning, and there's misinterpretation, wrong view. I see that Dhamma inside and outside are the same thing. My lose attachment. Keep on observing and knowing. Attachment is not something that you can be easily discarded. If you let go of this one, you attach to another one. Keep on practicing and noticing it. When you're practicing, if the mind become hot and want to accelerate your Dhamma practice, then know so, because it's greedy. Now the mind, you're forcing the mind. See that? Know this. Knows in the present moment. You see that the mind is not a self. It just only consists sometimes, but most of the time, it's the mind is the self. You can see that everything arises falls away, but the rest just progress on its own. Yesterday, I was checking the hope. Well, there was one arahant It's very exhausting. Do not hurry to become arahant. Actually, you don't have to have psychic powers to know. Lay people becoming arahant, but you're still with your family. You won't stay very long. You will be dead in one day. But if you become arahant for a long period of time and you're still there, you're still alive. The text is said it's impossible. That what is stuck that we only fabricate the stillness within the mind. There's only one stillness. Luangpu Pramote talk about arahant's mind that there's no single bits that still stuck in like that. Feel that there's no defilements, but do not entice me. Practice Dhamma. Very important thing is that you have to notice. Notice, you observe yourself consciously. Do not take side. If you observe yourself justly, whether it's according to the Dhamma, as long as you still have to maintain or guarding something, you're not there yet. So try and be observant. It's called critical reflection or yoniso manasikara in Bali. It's very important here, especially in this era. It's very difficult to find good friends. We cannot believe in other people. So we have to believe in the Dhamma as a main principle. If you keep on practicing and see your mind as permanent, then it's wrong. It's wrong according to the Dhamma. Or if you keep on practicing, the mind becomes hot, want to extract your practice to gain the ultimate. You see that you gain access to the ultimate truth, then you have to be wise and observant. It's not about keep on thinking relentlessly. Just have to observe the phenomena as they really are, whether they are according to the Dhamma or not, Dhamma principle or not. If it's contradict to the Dhamma principles, then it's wrong. You have to keep on practicing and learning. Number 8, your mind is tight. See that? You fight to the death. You think that you're good, so you keep on fighting. It's too tight. Can you forbid it to happen? No. If it's tight, no stop. That should be enough for today. Around this time, have a lot of work. Go to different places. Sometimes they invited me to, but sometimes it's necessary to accept the invitation. Nowadays, people are critical point and confidence in the Buddhism. I should go now.